This has been a generational heist for the Houston Texans. The NFL draft is in the books. Day 1, day 2, day 3, we have finalized. One of my favorite picks in the draft was on day 3, getting a running back. That was crucial. It redefines the Texans' offense. They got their 2 receivers in round 1 and 2. Actually, they didn't draft in round 1, excuse me. But day 2, they went crazy, got 2 wide receivers, a tackle out of Minnesota, and then day 3, they went out and got a running back from UCF. So we'll break it all down on Texans Digest. But first, I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who's joined the Texans Digest family. 88% of you are not subscribed, but a huge milestone. We have finally hit 1,000 subscribers, so just want to say thank you guys for all the support you guys have been doing on Texans Digest. The videos have been going crazy, and we're just continuing to grow. As the season's going on, we're going to have a lot of fun. So let me know what you want to see in the comments, and drop your comments down below in terms of what the Texans are going to do this season, because this is an interesting thing. Woody Marks to the Texans in the 4th round. They actually traded back, and then they traded back up for him. They gave up a 2026 3rd-round pick to go out and get Woody Marks. I love the pick, and not only does it redefine the Texans' offense, but you look at Woody Marks and honestly what he can bring to the table. He is so electric, and the whole Texans draft class, now that it's done, we will do a separate video on grading them and every single pick and breaking down what the actual necessity details are. I love the Texans draft so far. You got Higgins, Ursery, Noel, but a lot to talk about in terms of that. But I want to keep it specific about Woody Marks. Woody Marks was incredible at USC. 93rd percentile on the IGA score, reflects the kind of in-game athleticism that shows up on the tape, and he is so explosive. Not only that, but he's kind of one of the better all-around backs in the class, and I actually kind of forgot about him because of how electric he is. I was thinking about the 4th round. I was like, okay, Scadaboo went, Byshaw Tootin just went to the Jags. I really didn't know who the Texans were going to go grab, and they went out and got Woody Marks, and I was like, Woody Marks is still available. So it's kind of just a little shocking to me that I thought they were going to go with the DJ Giddens. But Marks can do everything really well all around, from good cuts in the backfield. He's patient. He's a powerful back. Reminds me a lot of Joe Mixon. Now, this will be a great 1-2 punch for Joe Mixon. Not only is Marks going to do well, it's going to be an amazing season, and the Texans' run game is going to be a 1-2 punch. If you can have a good run game that can take pressure off of your quarterback, that's going to be the game changer. So, new offensive coordinator in Nick Caley. I think it's good to note that the Texans were one of the worst 3rd down efficiencies in the NFL last year. Half of why C.J. Stroud got sacked so many times, but half of the reason was they were running it for 1 yard, running it for 1 yard. And the teams would pick up on the run game, the run scheme that Bobby Slowick set up, and that was it. That was all she wrote. So it's hard for Stroud to be put in a good situation to succeed when he has to get 8 yards on average to pick up a 1st down. If you're 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, kind of like what the Chiefs do with that offense and put Mahomes in a good situation, Stroud can step it up. And that's what's going to separate this team from a good offense last year at middle of the pack in 17-19 range. That'll set them apart from a great running game with Marks and Mixon. Mixon was great last year, but Mixon and Marks, good luck stopping that. I mean, Marks threw the tackles, Mixon, whatever you want to call it. Marks was also a good receiving back as well. So not to mention a bad nickname in terms of, he's got a great nickname, Woody Marks. I mean, his first name is not Woody, but he got that nickname. I love it. And for the Texans, it is such a huge grab because it's a big need, and you didn't have to reach on a 2nd, 3rd round and a Travion Henderson or a Quinshawn Judkins, which I wouldn't have minded, but I think Woody Marks fits the Texans scheme of what they're looking to do for this team. 1,100 yards at USC last year, 9 touchdowns, his first 1,000-yard rusher for the Trojans since 2017, 5.7 yards a carry, Big Ten, all 2nd team, and 146-yard flu game. So, I mean, a lot to love with Woody Marks. He can definitely catch the ball out of the backfield. Your new 3rd down back, they're definitely going to utilize it. I look at the Rams' offense last year with Kyron Williams, and because of that, with Nick Caley, but I don't think that's going to be the case this time. You look at Mixon, and the Rams drafted Blake Corum. They never really utilized him on day 3, so I'm looking at Woody Marks, and I don't think that's the case with the Texans. You have to re-identify yourselves as an offense, and when you have a good run game, you can get 4 or 5 yards, a good 2nd and 6, 2nd and 5. You don't have to run it again. You could run it like a screen pass, and you have your now receivers. The Houston Cyclones are cooking on offense as well. Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel. So a lot to love. In terms of how this draft went, Woody Marks, an absolute stud, and look, moving forward, I mean, this is what you're going to expect from the Texans. And I love the offensive firepower that they possess. And not only that, but it's just considering what the Texans wanted to do, I think they executed well. For how unfortunate the first round kind of went, they definitely stepped up. And Woody Marks will help this team so much. I honestly can't wait for the season. This offense is going to be incredible. I want to see what they do. And I want to also mention the offensive line because I saw a couple comments that were a little upset about how the Texans drafted. They were like, oh, we need offensive line. I don't disagree with that. However, you have filled the void with veterans, so you could have really went anywhere you want. That's what Nick Caserio did such a good job of in the offseason with establishing positions that you needed to fill. Left tackle, you traded Tunsil, it was wide open. You go get Cam Robinson. Left guard, Laken Tomlinson filled up for Shaq Mason and Kenyon Green because that was bad. But then you look at the right tackle position. Go out and get Trent Brown. Why not get another guard or tackle to kind of fill the void? So you have veterans that are there. And you did draft Ursery in the second round out of Minnesota. You traded up for him as well, so he will be your future blindside left tackle, hopefully, learning behind Cam Robinson. And then you can always draft a guard next season. Hey, Mike, the Texans aren't going to run the ball well if they don't have an offensive line. You're probably not wrong. However, this is a solid offensive line. It might not seem that way after you trade Tunsil and you don't get anybody in the draft, but overall, it's a solid offensive line. It really can't be any worse than last season because of how bad Shaq Mason was, because of the penalties Tunsil had, because of Kenyon Green going down, and just a lot of just inaccessible miscues that cannot happen. When you have a guard that gives up double-digit sacks, hopefully Laken Tomlinson can be an anchor and a wall for this team. But I think Nick Caserio has done a great job of building an offensive line that can have a good run blocking ability. And that's the thing with Laken Tomlinson that they picked up. Brandon Sheriff was available. I think they were looking at him. But the biggest thing with Sheriff, not only did he cost a lot of money, but his pass blocking was really, really good. His run blocking was just a little iffy. So you sign the better guy in terms of all around. But they have guys that can be good run blockers. And that's the thing. Pass blocking, it could be a little bit different because Cam Robinson gets beat a lot around the edge. But that's the thing. Run game and pass game, in terms of blocking, two totally different styles. And I think the Texans have done a good enough job to at least protect C.J. Stroud for this season, get a couple offensive linemen next season, and this team's going to compete. With Woody Marks now, I really am interested to see how Nick Caley will run this offense, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't really wait for this season. It's so exciting. The Houston Cyclones, Woody Marks, I think it's funny everyone's calling them the Houston Cyclones after drafting two wide receivers on the same team, but I honestly love it. I feel like for the future, it makes a lot of sense. But Woody Marks, I mean, I can't say enough good things about him. The only real downside I can really have for Marks is the Notre Dame game where his helmet came off and he got popped. So that was the only scary kind of moment there where he had that concussion. But overall, I think he's going to be solid. I mean, he's such a dynamic runner, and there's just so many good things he does well. Really, one of the better all-around backs in the class. And again, I wasn't really thinking about him. He was going late in the rounds, and a lot of running backs went later. So Scatterboo, compared to Marks, I mean, he's a good runner, but I think he's a little more raw. Marks does a lot of things really well, and I love that the Texans were able to pick up on that. This is why I'm not the GM, because I did say take Henderson with the second-round pick. Instead, they go Jaden Higgins. A lot of teams were high on Higgins because two teams right after traded back. The Titans did. The Raiders did. So I think the draft went well for the Texans, even though it didn't look that way day two. So overall, had some fun. Woody Marks is a Houston Texan. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Should be a great season, a good run first team. Stroud can rely on that. You have some good receivers now, so this offense is going to be better, and that's what you're looking for this season. Because if you can have a top 10 offense with a top 10 defense, that's what's going to make this team special. And I do really think that this is the year they can go on an AFC championship run. I'm not delusional. This team actually has a lot of talent, not only on defense, but the offense now has to figure out their identity with a new coach at the offensive coordinator position. I mean, it's not really, it's probably a position. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on Woody Marks in the comments, as well as any other Texans draft stuff. We'll do probably a great video tomorrow on every single player, breaking it down. But this has been Mike Zanetti, Texans Digest. Once again, appreciate everyone watching, subscribing to the channel. 88% of you are not sub, but again, appreciate everyone watching the videos, commenting, and it's been a lot of fun. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.